descending into the deepest place on Earth. The sunlight disappears, the water becomes freezing cold, the pressure becomes hundreds of times greater than at the surface, and eventually you reach a place so deep that the tallest mountain on Earth could fit inside it. This is the Mariana Trench, a world of darkness that humans have barely explored. But here's the question. What is actually living down there? Are there giant monsters hiding beneath the darkness, strange fish we've never seen? Or is the bottom of the ocean completely lifeless? The answer is far more fascinating than you might expect, because even in one of the most extreme environments on Earth, life has found a way. The deepest place on Earth. The Mariana Trench lies in the western Pacific Ocean, east of the Mariana Islands. Its deepest known area is called Challenger Deep, and it reaches nearly 11 kilometers below the ocean's surface. To put that into perspective, Mount Everest is about 8.8 kilometers high. If you placed Everest at the bottom of Challenger Deep, its summit would still be underwater, and that's only the beginning. At these depths, the pressure is enormous. Every square centimeter of your body would be exposed to an incredible force. A human being could not survive there without a specially designed submersible. Yet somehow, animals do. A world without sunlight. At the surface, almost every part of the ocean is connected to sunlight. Plants use sunlight to create energy. Tiny organisms feed on them. Small animals eat those organisms, and larger predators eat the smaller animals. But deep inside the Mariana Trench, there is no sunlight. None. It's complete darkness. So where does the food come from? One major source is something scientists call marine snow. Tiny pieces of organic material slowly fall from the upper ocean. Dead organisms, waste, particles, bits of biological material. They drift downward, sometimes for thousands of meters. Eventually, some of that material reaches the deep ocean. For creatures living in darkness, these tiny falling particles can become an important source of food. The deepest parts of the ocean may look empty, but they are connected to life happening far above, the strange creatures of the deep. Now comes the fascinating part. Scientists have discovered life forms living at extraordinary depths. Some are tiny, some are microscopic, and some are completely bizarre. One of the most remarkable groups found in deep ocean trenches is the Hadal snailfish. These fish have been observed at depths of more than 8,000 meters. Think about that. A fish living where the pressure is hundreds of times greater than at the surface. Its body has evolved to survive conditions that would be deadly to most animals. And the deeper we go, the stranger the adaptations become. Why don't they get crushed? So how can these animals survive such enormous pressure? The answer is not that they're somehow stronger than the pressure. Instead, their bodies are adapted to it. Deep-sea animals often lack large gas-filled spaces that would be vulnerable to extreme pressure. Their tissues and cellular chemistry are also specially adapted to function under intense pressure. For animals living at these depths, pressure isn't something they suddenly experience. It's simply their normal environment. Imagine growing up in a world where the pressure that would destroy a human submarine is just everyday life. The snailfish. One of the most famous deep trench residents is the snailfish. It doesn't look like the terrifying monster you might expect from the deepest part of the planet. In fact, it's surprisingly delicate looking, but appearances can be misleading. These fish have special adaptations that allow them to survive extreme pressure. Scientists have recorded snailfish at extraordinary depths in ocean trenches. And researchers continue to study how their bodies function under conditions that seem almost impossible. But here's the strange thing. Even snailfish have limits. Scientists have evidence that the deepest parts of the ocean may be too extreme for fish to survive. Beyond certain depths, other forms of life dominate. And that leads us to something even stranger. Life without fish. When most people imagine the bottom of the Mariana Trench, they imagine giant fish, maybe enormous sharks, maybe creatures with glowing eyes, but the reality is much less like a monster movie and much more fascinating. The deepest parts of the ocean are home to microorganisms, single-celled organisms, tiny crustaceans, worms, and other specialized creatures. Some of these organisms survive using organic material that falls from above. Others interact with the sediments on the seafloor. And some microorganisms can obtain energy through chemical processes rather than sunlight. That means life doesn't always need sunshine or even plants to exist. Could there be a giant monster? Now let's answer the question everyone wants to know. Could there be a giant monster hiding at the bottom of the Mariana Trench? The idea is exciting, but there is currently no scientific evidence for enormous unknown monsters living in Challenger Deep. In fact, the extreme pressure, limited food supply, and harsh environment make the existence of huge predators there unlikely. The animals that live at these depths tend to be specially adapted to an environment where food is scarce. So the real mystery isn't what giant monster is hiding down there. The real mystery is how can anything survive there at all? And that's arguably even more incredible. Humans have barely seen it. Here's something that makes the Mariana Trench even more mysterious. We've mapped large areas of the ocean floor using modern technology, but physically exploring the deepest regions is incredibly difficult. Only a tiny number of people have ever descended to Challenger Deep. Specialized submersibles are required. The journey takes hours, and every piece of equipment has to withstand crushing pressure. When a submersible reaches the bottom, the crew enters a world that is almost completely alien. No sunlight, no waves, no familiar landscape, just darkness, sediment, and life adapted to conditions humans were never built to survive. What else could be down there? And this is where the mystery gets really interesting. Scientists continue to discover new species in the deep ocean. Some are found in places that had never been explored before, and every expedition gives researchers another glimpse into a world that remains largely hidden. We don't know every species living in the deepest trenches. We don't know every survival strategy. And we certainly don't understand everything happening beneath the seafloor. The ocean is enormous, and the deep ocean is even harder to explore. So there may still be discoveries waiting for us, not necessarily giant monsters, but organisms with biological abilities we've never seen before. Think about that for a moment. On the surface, we build cities. We fly airplanes, we launch spacecraft. But beneath our own planet, there is a world where humans can barely survive for a few minutes without technology. A world where the pressure is enormous. The temperature is near freezing and sunlight never reaches the bottom. Yet life is still there. Fish, crustaceans, microorganisms, and countless organisms we are still trying to understand. Perhaps the most incredible thing about the Mariana Trench isn't what we know is down there. It's how much we still don't know. So the next time you look at the ocean, remember, the surface is only the beginning. Beneath those waves is an entire world waiting in the darkness. And somewhere down there, life is continuing without ever seeing the sun. What do you think is the strangest creature living in the deep ocean? Tell us in the comments. And if you want to explore more of Earth's hidden world, subscribe, because the deeper we go, the stranger gets it.